NPDC, a subsidiary of the NNPC, has expressed readiness to start oil exploration in Ogoni land. Now, the NPDC declared it would implement the demands of Ogoni people with a view to developing the ethnic nationality. MD of the company, Ali Zara, said this when he spoke at an event organized by the Ogoni Liberation Initiative in Bori, headquarters of Kana local government area of Rivers State. Zara acknowledged the pains Ogoni people had passed through as a result of polluted environment, stressing that the company would pursue to the fullest the demands of the people. Now, earlier, convener and president of Ogoni Liberation Initiative, Douglas Fabeke, said that Ogoni ethnic nationality had given consent to NPDC to resume oil exploration and would support the company to succeed. Fabeke declared that under no circumstance would SPDC, Short Petroleum Development Company, return to their land, noting that the spirit of the martyred natives would continue to hunt the old firm. He lamented that Ogoni ethnic nationality had suffered decades of economic and social marginalization and strangulation, adding that the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, HYPREP, saddled with the cleanup of Ogoni environment, has not done any work. Well, like I mentioned a while ago, is Ogoni land prepared for the resumption of oil exploration? These and other related matters up for discussion at this time. My guest who's joined me in the studio is the president of Ogoni Liberation Initiative, Douglas Fabeke. Douglas, good evening to you. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Thank you, Mr. Dayo. Thank you.
So let's start on that note. The question I asked a while ago. We'll dive into some of the other matters as we move along. Is Ogoni land ready and prepared for the resumption of oil exploration?
Well, I can say yes with the conditions. You know, I discovered that some people misinform others about our stand on oil exploration in Ogoni. There was a book I published, I think 2 years ago, and I said somebody must do something. I have personally gone around in all the Ogoni communities and all the host community. I think the first thing I did was to carry out what we call environmental evaluations to determine the level of damage to the Ogoni people. I sponsor a company personally from my own pocket. I use my resources, and I invited people to the council, and I said, look, this is my intention, and this is what I want to do. And I did that as a result of my several research about what Ken was fighting for. We understood that Ogoni have lost a lot of people and great men, that we cannot get them back. And so, talking about oil exploration, there should be a condition. I don't know why people are misunderstanding the Ogoni Liberation Initiative.
But we'll come to the condition in a moment. But my question is Ogoni land ready for resumption of oil?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
For any venture,
I'm coming to that.
There will be conditions.
Yes, there are conditions. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
I met with the Nigerian government after we finished all that we needed to do. I sued the federal government and share to court after the valuation report was presented to them. And I said, look, if you have accepted the pollution of the environment by approving that UNEP, HYPREP should carry out the remediation, there should be a compensation for the people. And this matter has been in court, and I've been meeting with government, telling them our intention. I call all the host community together, I met every leader, I submit letters and introductions to what I want to do and the vision I have, which I'm very sure that vision is connected to divinity. It's not just me doing it, because I felt I've contacted the people enough to take any actions for the interests of the Ogoni people. All the leaders that are writing against me today, I met them. Some I met them in the house, and I gave them what I call Ogoni Economic Recovery. And I published that document. I share it in Abuja to government, and I share it to all the leaders. I make it public in the local government council. And then at this stage, there was a matter that was between Shell and the federal government, that the Federal High Court said that Shell has the right, for government has the right to renew their license to come to Ogoni. The worst thing that will happen to us is to bring back Shell. You know, our problem started before 1960. Our problem are older than Nigeria. And so from the day that judgment was given, I follow up. The following day I was in Abuja with my lawyer to get every detail of that judgment. And I met with NNPC and I said, look, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Okay. And I met with them and I said, look, this judgment needs to be appealed. If this judgment is not appealed for Shell to leave our land, Ogoni is going to be separated from Nigeria. That means the government doesn't love us. And so we have been on.
You haven't answered my question.
I will answer your question. The question has some procedures. Now, it got to a level where the NNPC won the case against Shell. And now what next? We don't need to give that space for Shell to appeal or maybe come to Ogoni. So I invited the NNPC, the NPDC. You know the NPDC is a subsidiary of NNPC. Come to Ogoni land and address the Ogoni people. And they came. And so talking about oil resumptions, when they came, we presented an agenda. Number one agenda was a master plan for complete environmental restorations. Number two is for them to join hands with Ogoni people to implement, to approve our economic recovery plan. I think it was 15-point agenda. And I think, yes, why I say yes, because
yes to what?
Yes, for oil resumptions, okay, with conditions.
So you're saying,
yes,
Ogoni
with
land,
conditions.
just a moment,
yes,
if you don't mind. So
yes,
you're saying that Ogoni land is ready, prepared for the resumption of oil exploration on the condition that certain terms are met.
Yes.
But then again, terms comes after that. You can't talk about terms except you are convinced that something can happen.
Yes.
So you're convinced something can happen. It is on the basis of that you will then give terms or conditions. So what you are saying is, first and foremost, Ogoni land is ready for resumption of oil exploration.
We are ready to do business with the government on the condition of Ogoni that we present to the government.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So you said you did a lot of dialoguing and reaching out to people.
Yeah.
You said, to paraphrase your words a while ago, all those people who are writing things about you right now, you spoke with them, you met them in their houses and different places. Yes. And you believe that you speak, or your organization, Ogoni Liberation Initiative, speaks for all Ogoni people. However, it does come as something of a surprise then when one reads a statement of this nature. I'm about to read some of the content right now. It's a statement tagged Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni press statement, the so-called Ogoni Liberation Initiative and NPDC in Ogoni land. I'd like to read a bit of it. The Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni, Supreme Council, very important position, I believe, has distanced itself from and urged the Ogoni people and the general public to discountenance the reported declaration of a so-called Ogoni Liberation Initiative authorizing the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company Limited, NPDC, to commence oil production in Ogoni without the consent and approval of the people. On Monday, 23 August 2021, the OLR reportedly brought the NPDC into Bori, Ogoni, having sneaked the firm through the back door into Ogoni and authorized them to resume oil extraction in our communities. And then I'd like to move on to some other parts. Insofar as we are concerned, the Ogoni people, especially the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni, Mosop, Kagote, political class, and the elites had not made and permitted the oil mining either by the NPDC or any other investor should commence in Ogoni now. We therefore warn the OLI against actions that will throw Ogoni into crisis. So this statement references or talks about the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers, MOSOP, Kagote, and these are very important, relevant, high-profile organizations, not to talk about the traditional rulers, it's the Supreme Council as well, who have identified that they are not aware, that they are not in unison with you, they're not in agreement with you or anybody else for that matter, to bring about the resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land. And yet you say that you've interfaced with all these people and you speak for Ogoni people. No,
I want to find out, because I saw the press statement released by the Supreme Council. In that Supreme Council...
Just a moment.
Yeah.
I need to mention as well. And
Yeah.
it's signed by His Royal Highness King Samuel Ele Ine, JP. And I believe, also signed by Property Secretary PRO Supreme Council. Well, I think, he's a Property Secretary PRO Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni. All right.
Now, I just want to understand something there, because I became surprised when I saw the press statement, because it was that council that I first launched the dream of a new Ogoni. This was published in the newspaper. It was published. I printed how I want Ogoni to look like. And I invited all the council members. And I visited them with my team. And I launched this vision. I launched the visions of bringing in investors. Now, oil exploration is the last agenda of OLI. When you are talking about oil exploration, it does not create jobs. How do they do it in other countries? They ride on the back of governments to bring private partners to develop the land. And so, in the Council of the Supreme Leader, it was the first place, and I launched that vision. It was the first place I launched the vision of the phone, which I did 2013, and I gave them some pieces. It was that same council I launched the vision of environmental valuations, and I gave them a copy. Now, I have been visiting that council every now and then. Anytime I have visitors, I go to the council to report to them. Look, His Highness, I'm having a visitor. This is where we are. This is where we are. And I have record of all that. And I have record of the letter. I'm coming, Dayo. Okay. In a society where we understand ourselves, in Thai council, in Thai kingdom, Ogoni has 6 kingdoms. We have a committee. Okay, cannot the council send for my invitation to come to the council to answer some question as regard to the comment?
I don't know.
I'm coming. I'm coming. One minute. I have something. Now, the reason, what is the motive behind the press release of the council? Should we not develop Ogoni?
I don't know.
Should Ogoni remain like that?
This interview is not for me to answer the questions that you might have. It's for you to answer questions that I have.
Okay.
So now, since you say you've interfaced with the council...
Now, I'm coming. I want to tell you my level of interference.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Just a moment. You can proceed with that in a bit. Now, since you say you have been interfacing with the council, intimating them as to what's been going on, as you have been carrying, or should I use an expression we use it more commonly, you have been carrying them along. When you have visitors, you also inform them. And yet, in spite of all of that interface that you described a while ago, the council will still release a statement of this nature. Doesn't that state that whatever it was you felt you did or did not do, the council was really not in sync with whatever your agenda was?
I still want to investigate how that press statement came. That press statement came from the king himself, or it came from somebody using the name of the king, because there is no letterhead on the statement. Somebody can just write anything and sign and say on behalf of Douglas or on behalf of this, because Dayo, I'm very, very shocked. If Ogoni is still behaving like this, then we can move forward. No, listen to me. We are talking about a problem that taken up decades. A problem that people have died for. Are we not supposed to seek for solutions? Are we not supposed to negotiate with government? Are we going to cut the government out? Are we going to stay on our own? We are in a land where the youth are dying, where insecurity is increasing. What kind of leadership will people provide in a society without solutions?
Who was giving you Douglas Fabeke and OLI, your organization? Who was giving you the mandate? I mean, it's not necessarily the worst agenda in the world to develop Ogoni land, and that development of Ogoni land may be connected somewhat to the oil and gas industry and resumption of activities in that industry.
Mr. Dayo,
just a moment.
Okay.
Once I wrap up my question.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So maybe resuming activities in the oil and gas industry may be critical to developing Ogoni land. However, who has given you and OLI the mandate to interface and dialogue on behalf of Ogoni land to make this happen?
Mr. Dayo, I have visited every community in Ogoni. Mr. Dayo, I am in touch with every Ogoni sons and daughter, except those who doesn't want to listen to me. Just like I said, I publish a book because somebody must do something. It will not be easy for everybody to say, yes, I have a vision that Ogoni should be developed. And since I've been talking about this, oil exploration is the last agenda of my vision. I brought partners from all over the world to come and invest in Ogoni, because the land will not remain like that. Something must happen in that land so that our youth can get job, so that we are telling our youth to change from cultism and whatsoever. There should be an alternative to engage them.
When you say invest,
so let me conclude, Mr. Dayo. Mr. Dayo, hold on. You say, who give me the mandate?
Yes.
We have 90 communities in Ogoni that are host communities. I did a research. I visit every paramount ruler. You know, before even the king, before you send a press statement on behalf of any issue, you also need to consult the chiefs and the leaders of other communities, because you can send a press statement and my community will not key to your press statement, because we should have a vision. Look, Mr. Dayo, I spent 3 years in Dubai doing a research of how they develop Dubai. It is not by writing a press statement. It is for us to sit down and discuss within ourselves. If I discover something that is not right, I need to call you. Say, look, Mr. Dayo, what about this? What about this? And we clarify ourselves. Is it a writing press statement, or criticizing ourselves, or killing ourselves, condemning ourselves? Is that what is going to give us solutions?
You said oil exploration is the last on the list.
It's last on my agenda. Last on my agenda.
So you said that you have partners, you have people who want to come in to invest in the Ogoni land. Invest in what areas exactly beyond?
Mr. Dayo, I have a land I have secured in Ogoni for an industrial city. It's a big business. Industrial city is a big business. Mr. Dayo, I have the best proposal with NUC for an entrepreneurship university. And in the next 3 weeks, our contractor will go on site. Mr. Dayo, I have the best proposal for high-tech polytechnic and industrial polytechnic. All this I'm mentioning to you here, we have secured the land. We have a master plan. Mr. Dayo, my vision is to create 1 million jobs in Ogoni. Now, we even influence River State. We work with the state government, because Ogoni people are writing several letters. Ogoni is in Nigeria. You want to talk about that? You talk about the state government. You talk about the federal government. NPDC is the one that gives license. So if Ogoni people have vision, they should also form a company to go and register, to go and make an applications. You don't sit down in the house and try to destroy what somebody is trying to do. Mr. Dayo, I have 4,000 acres of land for an agricultural village. Agreement properly signed. Is that oil exploration? It's a universal oil exploration.
Obviously, the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers and other persons cited here, most subcargo and co, do not have a concern with
Mr. Dayo.
Just a moment, please. Do not have any concern with a university or polytechnic, because that was not cited here. They don't have a problem with an agricultural investment as well. That's not cited here. The object of contention is the resumption of oil exploration.
Mr. Dayo, the same council writing this press statement have written MOU with about 3 companies. I have the MOU in my hand. Did they consult the Ogoni people? If we are talking about that, the same council that is writing a press statement against me, trying to discredit my organization, have written an MOU with 3 companies to come and do oil exploration. Where are those companies? Why are they not doing exploration? Did anybody kick against it? Nobody did. But I think, Mr. Dayo, in a land where we are in a modern generations, and I advise people, we have to change our direction. Let's not go in the same way we are going. Our exploration is not taking place in Ogoni yet. Mr. Dayo, I want to ask you a question. We are still under the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they have rights, they have some authority, they have procedures. A lot of things is going on. We have the PIB law that have been signed by the president. Committee is going on in Abuja. Ogoni have not set up a committee to meet up of how we are going to share the 3%. A lot of things are there to be done. Mr. Dayo, I want to ask those who are writing letter. For over 30-something years, or close to 40 years, Ogoni is being like that. Are we going to leave it like that?
All right, we have to go for...
No, I'm asking you this question. Because you are asking me also some question, Mr. Adedayo.
I have to go for a commercial break now. And when we return, I'd like you to provide an answer to this. Now, what are these conditions? You say Ogoni is ready for resumption of all exploration.
Sure.
But with certain conditions. What are those conditions? When we return
thank you, Mr. Adedayo. Thank you.
Still had Facts 91.3 Nigerian for here in Port Harcourt. Is Ogoni land ready for return of all exploration? When we return, President of Ogoni Liberation Initiative, Douglas Fabeke, will still be here. Stay with us.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on night.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Welcome back. Still has Factor 91.3 Nigeria Info and her input Harker time dial 25 to go before 5 o'clock. We got the news update at 5, but for the moment, my guest, Douglas Fabeke, President of Ogoni Liberation Initiative, joins me in the studio. We're discussing NPDC's readiness to begin oil exploration to develop Ogoni land. Douglas Fabeke, you're welcome once again.
Yeah, Mr. Dayo.
So I asked you a question before the break. You said Ogoni land is ready for the resumption of oil exploration. You said, however, it's contingent in certain conditions. What are those conditions?
Mr. Dayo, Ogoni environment is still highly polluted. We need a master plan of how this environment can be restored perfectly. Government is not saying no. If there is any error on the remediation, they have to revisit it and see how they can implement all the recommendation of UNEP. And so one of the conditions is to restore Ogoni environment. We need a master plan of how to restore Ogoni environment.
Isn't the UNEP report a master plan?
It's a master plan, but nothing is being done. That what we are seeing does not reflect in what is in the report. And that is one of the conditions. And I don't think any Ogoni man will go against that. That is why I said it here that negotiation is progressive. But sometimes with wisdom, We go to school to study book, but we need wisdom to operate. Because the Bible said, if you apply wisdom for your matter, you will find good. At the same time, you open door for the government to come in.
What are the other conditions?
Now, the other conditions. Number 2, the compensation of the Ogoni people. We are in court. No oil exploration cannot take place in Ogoni without restoring the environment and paying Ogoni people compensation. They have suffered on this environment since 1958 till date. Government or Shell have to tell them sorry. And I think what my people should be looking at, there are women who have suffered this environmental impact. We want the youth, we want the women, we want everybody who have suffered during this struggle to be a participant of what is going to happen in Ogoni.
Talking about compensation.
And the compensation issue is on the top gear with the government.
Just a moment. So talking about the issue of compensation, quite recently a court awarded some communities in Ogoni land 45.9 billion naira, which on the receiving end, Shell, SPDC, has agreed to pay in compensation. Now, it doesn't, I don't think that would exhaust compensations. I imagine now there are other cases in court, both home and abroad. And some of these cases may be ruled in favor of Ogoni people. So it don't seem like the matter of compensation is also receiving some attention, at least with the courts.
Now, the compensation you are talking about is for a Jema community in Ebubu, Eleme. And that case started after the Civil War. You can imagine, people who started that case have died. Shall we allow you to be in the court until the 4th generation come before they agree to pay you? The one I'm talking about is the generality of all the host community, which government have accepted to join hands and come in to negotiate with the Ogoni people.
Government has accepted what exactly?
The NPDC MD says they are going to implement our demand. Part of that demand is to pay Ogoni people compensation. Part of that demand is to restore Ogoni environment.
Is this an out of court settlement? Because you also because you mentioned a while ago that you are in court as well.
Yeah, we are in court.
Now, what exactly are you in court for? And when you say NPDC both say government will compensate, are you saying that it's going to be an out of court settlement? Does that imply you're going to withdraw your suit?
Mr. Dayo, is going to be, the moment we understand our stand with proper agreement between them and the Ogoni people, we withdraw the matter. What are we doing in the court? Why we went to court is for them to answer us. So if they have accepted to answer us, why will I be going to court? We are not fighting government. We are telling them what is right. Mr. Dayo, you see, another issue people are having some misconception. When they see people around me, they thought maybe they are giving money to Mr. Douglas. Mr. Dayo, I have 45 people I'm paying salary. I cannot collect money from investor because I'm asking you to come and develop my land. Ogoni Liberation have office in UK. We have office in US. We have office in Lagos. We have a team of entrepreneurs that is facilitating this mission.
I'd like to ask you this. Why is the issue of resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land such a contentious one, that seemingly, so contentious that seemingly even Ogoni people themselves are unable to come to terms or reach some agreement on the way forward? I mean, over the years, even organizations such as Mosop, Kagote, NICOP, you name it, and there are several others. You have infighting, you have factional leadership, traditional rulers fighting themselves as well, agreement today and disagreement tomorrow. Why is it such a belabored issue in Ogoni land? Mr.
Dayo, I'm trying to understand, to define who a true Ogoni man is. 80% of my life is not here. Number one, I discover personal interest. Personal interest. I discover greed. Greed. I think that is the cause of all this. Now, Mr. Dayo, this is very simple. We are all Ogonians. We are all there in Ogoni. My office is in Bori. I'm not a Facebook office man. I don't have office on platform. I have a visible office in Bori, a very standard office, and I have staff who are in that office. I pay them salary every month. I have office in all the kingdoms of Ogoni, that are about 6 offices. We have committees in all the communities. Mr. Dayo, if government is coming with a good intention, is it not the right thing for the Ogoni people to sit down and say, look, my son, thank you for what you have done. What is the way forward? What have you done? What is the stage of the compensation? What is the stage of all the project? Mr. Dayo, I came with investor to build a refinery in Ogoni. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? My vision is not just to talk about oil exploration. There are communities, there are places where oil exploration is taking place, yet there is no job creation. My vision is to diversify the economy. That there be projects that can partner with the government, and we use that as a condition for Ogoni youth and the River State people to get job, for us to create job. Mr. Dayo, we have a proposal to build a gas plant in Ogoni, which the government is giving us good attention. And the only way we can develop Ogoni is to use this as a condition. Government, you want to get it from us, these are what we want to do to better our place. I told Ogoni people in a town hall, I have never done any meeting in secret. Some of my meetings are done in the town hall. I've done in the police station. I told Ogoni, if you give me 5 to 6 years, you will see another Dubai in Nigeria, which is going to be best in River State. Mr. Dayo, I think it is very simple. We can come on a round table, but don't allow your interests to override the interests of the communities. We have to do things that will be transparent for every Ogoni son and daughter to see what is going on, and that is what I'm trying to do. So what I expected from the stakeholder, having received my letter, invite me.
All right, great.
And I sit down and any area I don't know, whatever I don't know, they can tell me, okay, my son, okay, do it like this, and do it like this, and do it like this.
If you have any comments or questions, we're going to hear from me. The lines are up, and call 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp is on 0809-030-64165. Facebook, Deco. Promise goes, good evening, Dio. Greetings, Dr. Fabeke. I think what the Ogonis need is to work with this man who has been clamoring for development in Ogoni. He has vision for the Ogoni. If all our leaders can come out like this man to say the truth, then we would have passed this level we are. So I'll continue your good works. Once again, keep your comments coming in, and let's go to WhatsApp right now. A comment, more like a question and comment. Sir, you have an idea of an industrial polytechnic in Ogoni land. What have you done to give a facelift to the existing Kansas-Ariwa Polytechnic? I perceive agents of divide and rule everywhere in the Niger Delta. Ogoni people don't need to be reminded of the vultures. You may respond to that in a moment, please. Yeah. In a moment. I'll take a call from Dagali now. Hello, Dagali. You're welcome to Hot Facts. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Dayo, and the distinguished guest.
Go ahead. Please straight to your comment or question, please.
I feel so excited about the interview going on today, and there's the line that my leader there has taken to see how we can develop it. And I think it's the way to go, because we suffer for a very long time the result of oil degradation and our land being affected by pollution. We need to step up our environmental consciousness. We need to develop the land. And if the way to go is to bring in investors and putting before the MOUs, rather understanding on how to develop Ogoni, I think this demand is there, and to let them know that in every struggle like this, can never get 100% right in. Do what you need to do, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Mr. Bayo, can I answer the other question?
Just a moment, you will answer it in a bit.
I don't need to forget another question.
I will remind you of it.
Okay.
Hard Fighter, welcome. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Dayo.
Hi, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Honestly, each time I hear the goodies come to the station to talk about problems in the Ogoni land, I feel very sad. That aspect of River State, Ogoni land, 4 local governments, they have some of the brightest minds from Kens and River. It's unfortunate that your guest on the studio talk about bringing development to Ogoni without NATO meeting, Ganitoba, and all these stakeholders who we used to know. I'm not from Ogoni, but I've lived there. I was born here. And the issues about Ogoni have been long, long years. They are taking lives, things have gone wrong. Now government is saying NPDC should come and do exploration. What is his level of consultation with all these guys that have been on ground? I'm trying to put this in together. Now, let me tell you clearly. See, Ogonis are the problem of themselves. Clearly, with all the bright minds they have, my former Vice Chancellor, Professor Braidumen Fakayi, was in the Ogoni man. Excellent now performance in USC. What is wrong with them coming together to have a common front? Why are they so divided? They're so divided. And then the division shall, all the exploring companies are taking advantage of the division and doing harm and havoc to the community. It's so sad, Dayo. Very sad. Some of us cannot forget how the state started. We are over 50 years and we are still here. Ogonis have not been able to put themselves together. This young man, Yosido, that his visions are very clear. Clear visions he has. So I think he should consult wider and carry everyone along. Because before he came on board right now, I'm hearing his name for the first time. People have been on this struggle. What level of consultation has he made to bring everyone on board?
Your question is noted. Great to have you. Thank you very much once again. Henry from Goba. Henry, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dayo.
Go ahead, please.
I'm an Ogoni man, and I believe absolutely in the development of Ogoni. I identify myself with anything that will bring development to the area. It's almost a year plus now, if I'm not making a mistake, that Dr. Fabeke and his Ogoni Liberation Movement came into our consciousness. And ever since he came, he has been talking about building gas plants in Ogoni, building refinery in Ogoni, building farms for development in Ogoni, building airports and what have you. And ever since, he has not put anything practical on ground to follow up on all these promises. And then while we're talking about that, he did and talked about compensation, putting up his own organization as a body to fight for compensation for the Ogoni people. The other time I heard him go to Hypep and ask for all the water to be done in Ogoni to be done by his own organization. So this whole thing is confusing the people more, including my very self. If you want to develop Ogoni and you have ideas and you have partners, foreign partners, why don't you go ahead and do so that when the people see your sincerity, when the people see practical things you are putting on ground, they will trust you and believe in you. Your leaders, they are not there.
Henry,
you are talking about development, you are also talking about the aspect of competition on behalf of the Ogoni people.
Right here from me, Henry. That comment via WhatsApp earlier, I'll go back to it now. Sir, you have an idea for an industrial polytechnic in Ogoni land. What have you done to give a facelift to the existing Ken Sariwa Polytechnic? I perceive agents to divide and rule everywhere in the Niger Delta. Ogoni people don't need to be reminded of the vultures. You want to respond to this and the other comments that have come in so far?
Well, the Ken Sariwa Polytechnic, it's a government polytechnic. High school in Yoruba land. In some states in Yoruba, you have up to 20 polytechnics. So for the fact that we have Ken Sariwa Polytechnic, does not mean we should not bring in a private investors to build another institute. So you don't have right over the government polytechnic. What facelift will you give to Ken Sariwa Polytechnic?
Do you want to comment on any of the other comments so far?
But the other comment, I think the other guy is not following other activities. When we talk of development, these are the things we have seen. If you are talking about building the refinery, we went to a community and we spent over 60-something million, surveyed the land and all that, and at the end, they say no, they don't believe it. Take it off. We are in another community right now. And it's still the same SPDC that will give approval for all this project. You understand? Now, yes. Now you have, some people are not following our activities. When you talk of development, it does not just happen. There's a process to every development. There's a process. And that is why we hold a town hall meeting every Saturday. I'm in Bori. We stay at the council. Now, you talk about compensation. Nobody was fighting for compensation before I came. I came and I came with a company to do valuation report. And somebody says, I just came. I'm an Ogoni man. I have been on this struggle for 10 years. But I don't make noise. I'm somebody that take actions. I don't make noise. If somebody was fighting for this compensation, I will join them to fight for the compensation. I saw that on document, and I saw that was where can stop. And I discovered that is the way to go. We have to fight for the compensation. Everybody cannot fight for one thing at the same time. And this thing take process. You understand? Somebody said, I went to high prep to ask that my organization is NGO. We are not company. I don't have any number of anybody working in high prep. Neither have I any day visited high prep and say, give job to my NGO. I have my own office. I have a lot of job I'm doing there. So many jobs. Another person said, I've not consulted with this. How will you know? How will you know I'm not consulting with them? There is nobody, there is no stakeholder in Ogoni that I've not sat down with. They're all my leaders. They're my brothers.
Okay,
you understand?
So moving forward,
okay,
as we wrap up the conversation, what in your estimation, and the position of OLI as well, is the way forward for Ogoni land, and how do you think that the much talked about, and whatever anybody's position is, whether greedy or not, I believe ultimately everybody wants Ogoni land to be developed. At least every rational thinking person. So what in your estimation is the way forward, and how can this be accomplished?
Now the way forward, number one, payment of compensation is the top gear. That is about 95% done. Proper cleanup of Ogoni land, which government have accepted, to revisit the errors, maybe to empower high prep the more, or I don't know how they want to do it, but we want to see a master plan of how we can be sure our environment is protected. And the implementation of the UNED report, with creation of grant for actualization of the Ogoni Bill of Rights. The Ogoni Bill of Rights center on the development of Ogoni, using our resources. And so when we talk about town hall meeting, it's a progressive one. Continual town hall meeting with the Ogoni people for implementing of a strategic template. And more there, for the benefit of all the society, not just a few. If I come to your house and have a consultation with you, and I presented my vision, if you don't call me back, I will not come. Some people are saying, I did not invite. I have been to every organization. I sent my letter to Kagote. I sent my letter to Bukabari. I sent my letter. Some of them, I sat down in the house and I discussed with them. They are all my leaders. If they don't invite me, if they don't send for me, my son, I saw the letter you brought to my office. I think there should be a response. I've been calling everybody and say, look, the way to go, let us see how we can open door for the government, so that government is looking for this. We now tell government, this is what we are looking for. And we can use that opportunity to bring investors to develop our place. Investment, it does not take just 1 year.
What I'm asking you is, and
yes.
I can give a response in maybe just a few sentences, because I have to wrap it up now, is not just what OLI is doing, or what you have done in your personal capacity, or what you intend to do. I'm asking, as far as Ogoni people are concerned, what do you think should be and would be the way forward? The
way forward, Ogoni people should come back and let's sit down and discuss. We have been writing letters against ourselves. We have been criticizing ourselves. We have been abusing ourselves. We have been killing ourselves. That has not given us any result. Let's change direction. The 4 leprous people said at the gate and said, it is enough for us not to stand here forever. Let's move forward. Let's have a change of mindset. Let's forget about what any individual has stand to gain. Let's have the people at heart. Ogoni people are suffering. Go to communities. Some of them does not know some communities in Ogoni. I have been to almost all the communities. I stood at the town square and presented my vision to everybody. So I think now our people should come back. Because if you keep writing letters, abusing the government, and you remain the way you are, in the next few years, our children will come back and still fight the same battle we have been fighting for the past 40 years.
We'll have to wrap it up.
Yes.
On that note, thanks for joining the conversation. We've been talking about whether or not Ogoni land is ready for a return of exploratory activities as far as the oil and gas industry is concerned. My guest has been Douglas Fabeke, President of Ogoni Liberation Initiative. Many thanks for your time. Wish you and all the people of Ogoni lands the very best.
Thank you, Dayo, but you should have given me 7 minutes to talk more, because you took my 7 minutes when I came. 7 extra minutes. Dayo, I want to talk to Ogoni people. One few things.
We've got to the news coming up top of the hour at 5 o'clock. Discussions continue afterwards. Please stay with us.
Okay, thank you.